Hey friends! Welcome back to another episode of Free Spirit Beading with me, your host, Kristen on the Softflex Company YouTube channel. Thank you guys for being here. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. And at the end of the video, if you enjoyed the tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and like it. Appreciate that. So today we are going to be doing some Kumihimo with Softflex beading wire. Hi Tony. We're gonna make a beaded cluster focal. Hi Jamaica. I will make a beaded cluster focal with our new Czech glass cathedral beads, and then we're gonna use some seed beads up the sides, and we're gonna use Softflex medium 0.019 diameter beading wire to actually create our Kumihimo cord. Hi Karen, welcome. Hey Peggy, great to see you. Looking forward to sharing some Kumihimo love today. I have done quite a few videos in the past, mostly with the square plate because I tend to like that flat braid for bracelets. So if you're curious about the square plate, check out the Softflex Kumihimo playlist and you'll see projects from me on the square plate. You'll see project from James with craft wire on the square plate also, which is really cool. And then we have a ton of tutorials with the round disc and all sorts of different projects as well from me, Sarah. And I'm not sure about James on that one, but I know he definitely did a square plate. And let's see who's here. Did I miss anybody? Hey Lee and Sherry, great to see you guys. So a couple of things that are on sale this week. We have got Kumihimo items, of course. Hey Suzanne, 20% off of Kumihimo items today and tomorrow. That sale ends tomorrow, which is the 24th at midnight Pacific time. And we've got the square plate, we've got a double density Kumihimo disc, and we have a mini double density Kumihimo disc. I'm using the mini size today. I think I just picked that one up because I thought it was a good little travel size, and you'll see the double density boards are super thick. Really nice to work with, and especially if you're working with craft wire or Softflex wire, it's nice to have a little extra cushioning to grasp that wire and hold on to. I know that the square plate is not double density, and that one does kind of bend a little bit while you're working. So the double density is really great if you're working with harder materials. And we also have 20% off all beading wire brands except for Extreme. So it includes 20% off Softflex, all the diameters, Soft Touch, all the diameters, the trios, the quad, and the Econoflex line and the Pro Econoflex line. All of those are 20% off. Basically, you can just go to our beading wire category, and everything in there except for things that are Extreme Streamflex are on sale. Those are the only ones that are not included. And a little extra sneak peek for you guys. We haven't told anybody this yet, but we did load up some pre-Black Friday specials, and we have about 9 colors of Softflex beading wire that we're having an overstock sale on. So if you were to shop these colors right now, you would get the sale price, and then you would also get 20% off of that sale price until tomorrow, November 24th at midnight Pacific time. And let me share with you what colors we have on the overstock sale. Actually, I wonder if I should wait. And turn it down. There's just a lot. I'll just hold them up, I guess. So we've got yellow, pink rhodochrosite, peridot, green emerald, citrine, chrysoprase. Let's see if I have enough, if I can hold them all. Red coral, red jasper, and last but not least, but I'm using it in the video today so I don't have the spool to show you, is the imperial topaz, the butterscotch imperial topaz, which was the brown wire that was just in the fall. Here, I'll back up a little bit, just in the fall kit. So all of these colors are on Overstock sale starting now. They're our Black Friday special, but we loaded them up on the website early. So they are starting now, and then you'll get 20% off until tomorrow at midnight. So you just go to the regular medium Softlex 0.019 diameter product, just like you would if you were picking up a color any other time. And when you scroll through the colors, the ones I mentioned will have a sale price listed on the picture, and then you'll also see that it's slightly discounted. So and that includes 10 foot, 30 foot, and 100 foot. So for example, like if you were gonna get a 10 foot regular $7.89, it's now $6.71. And then because we have 20% off beading wire, you're gonna get an extra 20% off that through tomorrow at midnight. 30 feet would be regular $16.49, and then now they're $14.02, and then again, until tomorrow, you'll get that extra 20% off. So pretty great. We also loaded up some bead stoppers. We are closing out all colors except for red or the ones without the tips. So bead stoppers and mini bead stopper colors are all on sale as well. So you can grab those. Again, that is a Black Friday deal that we just kind of loaded up a little bit early. So you guys can grab that now while you're shopping. And let's see. So what we're going to be using today are the cathedral beads. Those are the new beads we have in Czech glass, and we are sold out of the white quartz. We have just 8 strands left of the garnet, and then I'm going to be using the fluorite and the black onyx today. We have quite a few of those strands left. So let's see. All right. Hi, Sheila. Oh, Suzanne got her free wire today. She got all the colors. Congratulations, Suzanne. I'm so glad they arrived so quickly. And you have all the colors to play with now, all 22 colors. So cool. It's always fun to have all of the colors to play with. All right, so let's get going here, and I'll turn you guys down and we'll talk about what we need for this project and what we're gonna be doing. Hi, Gail. Yes, congratulations, Suzanne. So nice. What a great prize. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining us. So here is my sample I did with the fluorite cathedral beads in the center, and then I used size 11 seed beads. These actually have a little bit of a triangle shape. They're kind of a, they're not a completely round seed bead. They're slightly triangular. Let's see if I can get the shape on one of the end pieces here. So you can see that it's just got a little bit of a triangle. And then I strung it on the chrysoprase Softlex beading wire. This is one of the Overstock sale items. I wanted to work with colors that were on the Overstock sale right now. So this is what I'm going to be showing you how to do. We'll put that right there. And so I have strung up on the Kumihimo disc a different set of cathedral beads. These are the black onyx. They have like a metallic shine to them. I have size 11 seed beads, and then I'm using the Butterscotch Imperial Topaz color beading wire, which is also on sale. So before we go to this, I'm just gonna dissect this a little bit. Let me make sure that I'm not knocking stuff over. So this was my demo, and I was trying to see what size we need for everything. So I've got 20 knots that started here. You do have to count and pre-string all the beads, yes. In this particular, in most of the round Kumihimo, I believe you do need to do that. And some of my flat square Kumihimo designs, you do not need to string the beads because they tend to, the way that they're inputted, you just add them as you need them. But this particular pattern, and I think for most round, you do pre-string. So here I did 20 knots of just the soft flex wire, just by itself. 20 knots meaning I went around the board 20 times. So each time I went around the board, starting from here and doing all 4 patterns, when I came back here, I counted that as 1. So I ran around 20 times, and that is how I got this length of wire here. That turned out to be 3 inches long. Then I strung on 30 seed beads on each strand, and that is this portion here. And this turned out to be 5.5 inches long. I did 3 of these beads on each strand. There's 8 strands total. So that's a total of 24 beads, but I did 3 on each strand, and that turned out to be 1.5 inches long. And I'm just sharing this with you so that if you want to figure out, you know, maybe you want to make a more length like this, or maybe you want to make this go all the way up the end, you have an idea of how many beads makes what. So that again, on this side was 30 beads on each strand, gave me that 5.5 inches, and then 20 trips around with no beads gave me 3 inches. So what I did for my next one that I'm going to show you how to set it up here is I decided to increase my seed beads to 45 and decrease the knots that I make here. So I'm just going to probably go around maybe 2 or 3 times to start it at the one end, and then I moved it to 45 seed beads so that I have more of a seed bead braid, and then I'm going to keep this the same, and then I have 45 going on this side. So the first thing you do is you're going to cut your wire. So when I'm doing a necklace with soft flex beading wire, you're going to need 36 to 40 inches of each strand. I did 40 inches when I made this one, but I had quite a bit left over. So if you do 3 feet, if you do 36 inches on each strand, I think you'll be fine for an 18-inch necklace. Because this total size came out to 18.5 inches, and I did have quite a bit of wire left over. So step 1 would be to cut 8 strands, like I have here. So you're going to cut 8 strands, 36 inches each up to 40 if you want to have a little bit more, if you wanted to make this longer. Their next step after you cut 8 of these is you are going to attach all 8 into a bead stopper like I did here. This is a regular size bead stopper, the larger one. And you want to attach all 8 with 1 strand per coil. That just ensures that they don't pop out. If you have multiple strands in a coil, one of those strands might come loose while you're working, especially because you're pulling pretty tightly to create the braid. So I always make sure to put 1 strand in each coil. I think you can fit up to 10, but we just need 8. And then you'll stick your bead stopper down the center. So let me just pull these off for a minute. So you'll have all your strands. I haven't put all my beads on yet at this point. You just, step 1 is cutting 8 strands, 36 inches, attach it to your bead stopper with 1 strand in a coil only. So you'll see with these, you just pop them up like that, and that's how you insert them. And you place this in the center. You can use a weight if you want to. I have used weights in the past and I like them. Unfortunately, I glued my weight together and I did not use a weight on this one. And it turned out, I think the tension turned out just fine. But if you're concerned about your tension, you can add a Kumihimo weight to the end of this to clip on, or some people create a bag of pennies, or just a little, like you could probably put pennies in a little plastic baggie and like clip that on somehow. But I found I didn't need it. So once you have your wire on your bead stopper, you're gonna put it through your Kumihimo disc, put it through the center, just like that. And then you're going to set up your board. You're gonna put 1 strand on each side of the black circles. Until you've got all 8 situated. And there doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason at this point of where you place the strand. And then just pull them kind of down so they're nice and taut. And that is how you set up your board. So now my next step after I have my board set up is I'm gonna go through and string all of the beads. And so I did all that already. And just to show you the pattern here. So I strung on 45 black seed beads, 3 of the black onyx cathedral beads, and then 45 black seed beads again. So that's your pattern. You do that on all 8 strands. And then I clip them with a mini bead stopper. So this is the mini size. We saw the big size in the beginning. I'm just going to show you when I do these guys sometimes slip out of my hand, but when I do the mini, I put my wire in like that, and then I push it to the back so that it is as close to the back side of the coil as possible, and that makes it really secure. If you put it if you don't push it to the back, I found with the mini bead stoppers, they could pop out. So especially like on this project where you're going to be pulling a lot, I definitely like to make sure I push it to the back. One thing to note, when you push it all the way to the back, it may give you a little bit of a kink in your wire. So always make sure you're doing that in a spot close to the end where you're likely going to cut it off anyway. So you could just leave it with the bead stoppers, but because this is kind of a long project, sometimes with bracelets I've left it with just the bead stopper, but since this is a long strand, 36 inches, they do get tangled, and I have found that the little mini bead stopper inside the bobbins works really well. Now, a lot of times people use these bobbins, they just put a piece of tape in there. I will tell you with Softflex has a nylon coating, so it's a little slippery. I've had it work okay with tape, but if your beads are heavy or kind of tugs on it a little bit, I've had them slide off and the bobbin come undone. So the mini bead stopper helps to keep it on there, and it also helps that if this does come undone, my beads are not going to go disappearing because there's got that stopper on there to help. So you've got a nice little mini bead stopper in there, wrap it around your bobbin, and then close it. Unfortunately, we don't sell the bobbins at Softflex Company. I did pick these up somewhere else at like a hobby craft store. So if you do want bobbins, you may need to find those somewhere else. And this is an eight strand pattern, so you'd need 8 bobbins, you need 8 mini bead stoppers, and then 1 regular bead stopper. Let me see if I missed any questions. Karen's asking, do you estimate how much wire to prepare, and what do you do if you run out of wire in the middle of the project? If you run out of wire in the middle of the project, you're gonna have to change your plan. So for example, this is a project where I have just Kumihimo in the front, and then I have end caps, and then I have a chain going up the back. So this strand here was not long enough to make a bracelet out of. I don't think, actually. No, not long enough to make a bracelet out of. So instead, and not long enough, obviously, to go around the whole back. So instead, I used it as a focal piece. I don't know of any way to add wire other than if you wanted to create a rope, run out of wire, finish it off, and then create another piece, maybe with a bead in between, and then you can create another piece of rope. So if you run out of wire, I think you're gonna have to change up your plan to either using a section, or you'd have to create, you know, sort of finish it off and then add to it. You wouldn't be able to just add more wire to the disc, as far as I'm aware. And then Suzanne said, Karen, I think that the wire should be 2 times the final length of your project. Possibly. So my final, like if you look at this one here, my project, this one turned out to be 18.5 inches. And I used about 36 inches of each strand. But that's why you watch things like this, why you look at other people's patterns. This is something that I had to work out, and then after doing the first one, I decided to extend my seed beads on the second one. So a lot of this stuff is trial and error. I'm using seed bead size 11, and I'm using a 5mm bead here. So to get these measurements, if you used a similar size beads, then you would see how that would work for you. Hi Aisha, good to see you. Okay, so we've done step 1, cut our strands. Step 2, attach the bead stopper. Step 3, place the bead stopper through the hole and set up your board. Step 4 is string your beads, mini bead stopper and bobbins. And now we can start our pattern. So I'm gonna start, and I'm just gonna do I think I'll go around the board twice with no beads, and then I'll start adding beads in. So I'm gonna start with this one here. It's number 16 at the bottom of the disc, and I'm gonna pick up the strand on the left, and I'm gonna bring it to the left of this strand here. So it went from here up to here. And then we're gonna take the strand on the right and we're gonna bring it down to the right of this strand. And then we're gonna turn our disc counterclockwise. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do bottom left to top left. We're gonna do, and I'm gonna say I'm working on a table, which is gonna mean my bobbins are gonna get wacky. You really wanna work in a way where you're letting your bobbins hang below you so they do not get all tangled up as much. So now I'm gonna do the top right to the bottom right. And then you turn again. I'm gonna see if I can actually lift up my camera just a smidgen. Give myself more space here. And that'll allow me to hopefully untangle this a little bit more. Okay, so ideally you want to work in a way that allows your bobbins to hang without touching something like this. So they're just kind of hanging free, and that will less likely to get all gathered up. Okay, so I was up to here. I'm gonna take the bottom left up to the top and then the top right down. And I'm just gonna tweak this guy so he's in the middle a little more. And then working with your tension, you just want to kind of push these back in place once you come back around. So now I've done one full swoop. I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to start down here, go up to the left, top right, down right, turn it clockwise, counterclockwise. Bottom left, up to the top left, top right, down, bottom right, counterclockwise. Up left, bottom right, counterclockwise. So you're just doing that same pattern each time. Bottom left to the top left, top right, down to the bottom, to the right of the strand that's there. And now I'm back again to my beginning. So I went around 2 full times, and now I'm gonna start adding beads. So what you do here is I'm just going to use my finger to bring up one of these seed beads, and I'm gonna drop it into the center, and I want it to catch underneath that parallel line. So these lines going to the here and here, you want your bead to catch under it just like that. And then you pop it up to the left. And you'll know if it's caught under there, because if it isn't, it will slide and you'll see it slide on this wire. So can you, I don't know if you, can you see that it's sort of caught underneath there? So we're gonna do the same thing, the next one. So you pick up a seed bead, drop it into the center, make sure it's tucked underneath, and then you put it into its place. And then you're gonna go clockwise, counterclockwise, excuse me. Pick up another seed bead, drop it into the center, make sure it's caught underneath that line right here. So if it wasn't, you would see it's sort of floating on the outside here. That means I didn't tuck it under. So you want to tuck that bead under and then put it in the notch. And there's that one down. I'll just go around a couple more times so you guys can see the cord, the braided cord starting. And if you ever need to stop, so if you're in the middle of working and you need to take a break, a trick is to move to where you're gonna go next, pop that, well, let me get the bead in there. Get your bead in there, pop that wire up, so you've got 3 wires up at the top, and then stop here. So when you come back to pick this up, you'll always know this is where I left off, 3 wires at the top, this one has to come down, and then I'd move this way. If you forget to do that, you can always take a look at where the wires are crossing. So these wires are on top at the moment. See how that wire is on top coming in this direction, and this wire is on top going in that direction. So I know that this is where I left off because I need to go above it. But it's a little easier to just do the 3 and leave it there. And now I can put this down and come back to it later and know this is where I left off. And then that would be the next one to come down. So I'm gonna put this aside. Let's see if we can start to see a little bit of, there we go. Let's see if we can get the light on there just right so that we can start to see the braid coming together. Oh, yeah, a little bit of sunlight right there. And I'm gonna put this down and put this aside. I'm gonna finish this and actually take a picture of what it looks like in this colorway for the blog tomorrow over at softflexcompany.com. I have never worked with anything other than Softflex, Karen. So I can only speak to Softflex. I have never tried it with any other materials. All right, so once you're done, what you would do is you would just come around and you would trim all of your wire off of the board. And I would put a bead stopper on both sides as you're trying to work things out. And that would just hold all of your wire together. On this side, I already did the 3x3 crimp. So we're gonna do that on this side here. So I'm gonna take off my bead stopper. And I've got all of my wire here. Remember, there's 8 strands. You're going to take a large 3x3 crimp tube. And you're gonna need a mighty crimping plier to go with these. And you just push that crimp tube all the way down to where your braid starts. This is what the mighty crimper looks like. It looks just like one of the regular crimpers. The only difference is that the notches at the front here are gonna be larger to fit this mighty crimp size. So it's a 3x3 millimeter crimp tube that we are using here. I'm just gonna place that crimp tube in the back notch and give it a firm squeeze, and that'll create a nice divot. And then you're gonna place that in the front. So we're turning it, we crimped it this way, took it off, and then turn it 90 degrees so that that divot is now facing out and placed in the front notch, which is called your rounder. You're gonna give it another squeeze, and then you're gonna go around a few times just to cinch in that metal crimp into your wire. And now this is nice and secure. You can go ahead and cut away 7 strands, leaving just 1 for your clasp. Karen, no, it does not fit the regular crimpers. It's specially formulated to go into the mighty crimper because of the size of the crimp. It's just, the regular crimper fits a 2x2 millimeter crimp. The mighty crimper fits the 3x3, and then the micro crimper fits the 1x1. So they all have different notches at the top. All right, so you can leave it just like that, just crimped at the end. You could put a 4 millimeter crimp cover on top if you want to cover that up. You can also use a cone like this one to cover it up. And if I had a larger strand, then you can always use a cup. An end cap. This one, and that I used with these pearls. So depending on the thickness of your cord, you can change out the type of findings you do. So I think this one I'll use the cone and show you guys how to attach that. So now I'm going to switch to the 2x2 millimeter crimp tubes. And I'm going to use just a simple lobster clasp. Let me grab one of those. To finish it off. You can use the 2x2mm crimp tubes with the regular crimping plier, or you can use the magical crimping pliers. So if you use the regular crimping plier, it would be just like the Mighty Crimper. It's same exact process, just the notch holes are a little bit differently sized. And then I'm going to use the Mighty Crimper. Sorry, the magical crimper. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all tongue-tied today. The magical crimping plier for my finished crimp here at the end. And what this does is it turns your crimp tube into a little bead. You have to get that crimp right in the center. Give it a good squeeze. It'll create 4 little puff corners. Turn it and place it in again. This crimping plier only works with the 2x2mm crimp tubes. It's got a little notch in the center here that's specially made just for that size crimp. And if you wanted to, you can even add a bead in between here if you wanted to decorate it up a little bit more. Then using flush cutters, you're going to trim that wire, and that's how your one end would look. You would just do the same on the other end. You can either use the wire as your little clasp, or you can add a jump ring, or I would say a closed jump ring or a split ring. Suzanne, I did say that I used size 11 seed beads. I actually used these, and I think you can tell in the tube here that they are slightly triangular. Karen is asking, when is it good to use wire guards and French wire? We don't ever use wire guards here at Softlex Company. I know a lot of people like to finish their jewelry off with it, but we really don't. So I don't know. I mean, I would think that in some cases, if you're using say you're using a certain metal type and then you're just using a bead stringing wire, that's the basic stainless steel color, maybe you want to use a wire guardian because it'll look a little nicer. Some people feel that the wire guardian protects the beading wire that you're using, or the stringing wire that you're using. Softlex bead stringing wire has a really thick nylon coating, so we just don't feel it's necessary to have to use them. So I think that some people use them, like I said, for aesthetic reasons. And then if you're using a beading wire that maybe needs a little more strength than our wire than you want a competitor's wire or a thread, and you want a little more strength there, you can add them then. But none of us at Softlex Company ever use them. We don't actually, I don't even think we sell them. We did for a period of time, but it's not something we really feel is needed with our wire. So there you have it. That is the design. I'm curious to see in my next example that I'm going to share on the blog tomorrow. I think it'll just go all the way up. The seed beads are going to go all the way up because I readjusted the amount. Karen, you just saved me money. I only use Softlex. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, like, I mean, some people, if you're doing something and you just want it to have like a certain look aesthetically, I think that some people like the wire guardians. But yeah, we just don't feel like we have to use it. So let me give you guys, I'll show you before we go, just a few other projects that we've done with Softlex and the Kumihimo boards. So this is another project that I've done here on the YouTube channel with the round, and I use the citrine and maybe, I think red jasper. I think it was citrine and red jasper colors. So you see there's just, it almost looks like Harry Potter colors actually together. And in this case, I used these triangle seed beads in the center. And you can find this tutorial on the Softlex YouTube channel in the Kumihimo playlist. So that was a bracelet. And then most of the stuff I've shared have been on the square plate. So these were done on the square plate with Softlex and these Czech glass beads. This one was done on the square plate with some seed beads, but these are larger cubed seed beads, or cube beads, I guess they'd be called. This one's really sweet. It uses our mermaid trios. So it's got all three colors in there of the turquoise, bone, and blue topaz. And so you'll see a lot of these designs I've done in the previously, I've always done just the seed beads. This was the first time I was trying something a little bit larger in the center like this. So this was a 5mm size bead. And I was curious of how that would kind of come together. And then you guys already saw this one, but this one was done on the round with these 3mm freshwater pearls. And in this particular case, I did it on the fine Softlex beading wire because that was the only size that could go through those pearls. But I tend to use the medium most of the time because the medium is where we've got all of these fun colors. And, oh, there's one more necklace I have here. This one is similar to this guy, but instead of using triangle seed beads, it uses these little dagger petal beads. I think they're called dragon scales, actually. So this uses the dragon scales, and that's just in the front, and then the back is just entirely just the dark blue lapis Softlex. And in this case, I just did the 3mm crimp tube and then the little crimp tube next to it. I didn't cover it with a cone. So you can decide not to cover it with a cone, or you can cover it with a cone, like I did here. So lots of different options. Suzanne, what did you just say? Oh, you love the pearl one. Yeah. This pearl one's really fun. This one is on the YouTube channel also. And it all started with this pendant. I was like, oh, let's do something Kumihimo and really show off this pendant that I got here. And then, of course, I used our friend over at Silver Silk. I used some capture chain at the back end here to finish it off. But this is a really great use if you don't want to create a Kumihimo all the way up the back. You can do something like this where it's more of a focal, and then you can just add a chain or even just regular Softlex up the back. So keeping it simple and just allowing the front to be the focal. I will say that because I used the fine, I ended up doing a couple of strands through the crimp so that it was strong enough. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to keep going with this. I think someone in here asked how long does it take. It's a good question. I think this one took about an hour start to finish once I started doing the actual braided. it took a little longer if you add in the cutting and the stringing of the beads. So, and that I kind of did on and off, so I'm not really sure, but I would say probably an hour and a half to 2 hours start to finish if you're including all the stringing and the cutting and setting up the board in addition to doing all of the beadwork, the braiding. So here are all those colors again. Look at them. There's so many that are on sale. So we've got an Overstock sale going on. These are already marked down in price, and then you're gonna get another 20% off on top of that up until tomorrow, November 24th. And let me share a few other things with you before I go. We've got fall masterpiece designs are due in the Softlex VIB studio group today. So if you got the fall masterpiece design kit and you want to be included in our monthly giveaway, then go ahead and hop over to the Softlex VIB Facebook group and make sure to share some pictures of some jewelry that you've made with the fall masterpiece design kit. And if you haven't made any jewelry yet, this is your little reminder to get going. Each piece of jewelry that you share is an entry to win, and it is just random. So there's no worry about what your design looks like, or if you're a beginner versus someone who might be more seasoned. It's just random, so just share away, and we just love seeing what everybody makes with the kits. It's a lot of fun. So that's due today. We have the unboxing and reveal of the White Christmas design kit will be this Wednesday, November 25th. And we've also got our Black Friday sale starting on Wednesday. So you got a little preview with these Overstock colors and some of the bead stoppers that are on closeout right now, but we're gonna have our actual Black Friday sale will start on Wednesday, November 25th, and that will run, I think, until Tuesday. Also mark your calendars for Cyber Monday. We have our next live sale, and it's gonna be a great one. Go ahead and check us out over on Facebook. Mark your calendars to join us. That'll be 2 p.m. Pacific time on Cyber Monday, November 30th for our Cyber Monday live sale. It'll have some special items in there, some special things going on. I think I saw a couple of questions come through. Suzanne says yes, the stringing is the part that takes the most. Picking up all those little seed beads and getting those all on the strand is the most time consuming. And so I do find that I tend to do a couple of strands, do something else, come back to a couple more strands, because I just don't do them all in one sitting usually. What is the name of the dark green and pink wire? Okay, so the colors I got here, let's see. We've got the dark green. This one is called Green Emerald. The other greens we have are Peridot and Chrysoprase. So all three of those are on Overstock sale. And then the pink is the pink rhodochrosite, is that one there. And then Karen is asking, does using the square disc versus the circle disc give you different shaped results? Yes. So the circle disc will give you a round cord like this is all rounded here. And you'll see here, this is all a rounded cord. And the square will give you a flat braid. So this is flat. That's the back, that's the side, that's the front of one of the flat ones. Here's another one. That's the back, that's the side, that's the front. So the square gives you a flat braid, kind of like a friendship braid. Friendship bracelet, and then the round disc gives you a round cord like that. All right, you guys, I hope that this was an inspiring video today, and I've got you thinking about using Softlex and Kumihimo together in a new way. Make sure to check out our blog over at softlexcompany.com. Tomorrow I will share pictures of both designs. I'm gonna finish up the other one tonight. So I'll share that. I'll also probably share it in the VIB group. So if you're in there, you can take a look there as well. So many pretty colors to choose from. Yes, I think we've got like I think we've got like 22 colors or something like that. Right now, so that's awesome. Oh, I was able to sit in this chair the whole time. This is the longest I've sat in a chair in 3 weeks. Oh, good. I hope that you'll do some this weekend. We've got a nice long weekend, and I think it'll be perfect for some Kumihimo, especially once you get it all set up. You can just start doing the braiding pretty easily. I was watching TV and stuff when I did the actual braiding. It's the setup part that you have to kind of pay attention to. All right, have a wonderful week. Very happy Thanksgiving to those of you that celebrate. I hope that if you can't be with family, you can at least find a way to connect with them and give yourself a nice, relaxing, restful holiday. I will not be here next Monday because we are going to have the Cyber Monday sale that starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So I will not be here next Monday, but I will be back the following Monday. So I'll catch you guys then at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Let me just look at my notes and make sure I didn't forget anything. Nope, I think I got it. So if you're new here, please subscribe. If you like today's video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. You have any questions? We always go back and look at the comments and answer questions as we can. So feel free to go ahead and ask away in the comments if something wasn't explained correctly or you just are a little confused about something that I did. I'm happy to help. All right, have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.